back with Jessica Porter from Horizon.
Well, Horizon is very customer based. We're focused on our customers, and one of the things we pride ourselves on is being able to give you a quick answer.
So where does that? So Horizon Bank, it's not a Are you a bank like the Big Four? Do people are people aware of?
We are very different to the Big Four. We are a mutual. So basically, we were a credit union, and we've changed our name to bank. That was a little bit of a change to appeal to people so that people would understand what we do.
And so really one of your biggest things that you provide for people who are looking to move is obviously home loans. And that's why you're happy to give them money quickly. Now, the quickly is interesting. Why? Because from a real estate point of view, we've been identifying that sometimes it takes a very long time, like 4-6 weeks, to get finance approved. Why is that?
It can do. I can't speak for other places.
No.
But there can be a bit of a delay with how it's handled because a lot of the other institutions are handled by their head office. Basically, they don't take the application in the branch themselves and process it from start to finish. So if I can get all the paperwork very quickly within the time that I've got all the paperwork I need, I can have an answer in 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, and that's and as a real estate agent, we do see that as well. You know, we love working with Horizon because when you've got home sellers wanting an answer, they've accepted an offer on their house.
Yeah, and they want to know they're conditionally approved.
Yeah, absolutely. And vendors or home sellers actually don't want to exchange a contract and make that contract real until they know the person buying it actually can get finance. And so to be able to get a quick answer is especially for the buyers as well, because they're sitting going, are we going to be able to borrow the money for the home we want to buy? And so that is that ability to do it quickly is a really key thing.
Yes, and it can be a very stressful time for buyers and sellers. You know, that little bit period in between an offer being accepted and exchange.
And hopefully you understand those terminology. I mean, that's terminology we're very familiar with.
Yes.
Obviously, giving people lots of money, the interest rates are helping at the moment.
Obviously, we've got factors in place with floor rates and things like that, so that we're being very prudent and making sure that we don't put people in a position that they can't afford in the future. So, but there has been when you look at I think everybody's aware there's been a real estate boom over the last 18 months. Not quite 2 years, but 18 months. And part of that process has been, that's been driving that is low interest rates because money is cheap. I'm not going to ask you a question as if you're the governor of the Reserve Bank, but what's your, in terms of how a bank actually manages risk and whether or not people can afford to buy, do you see any movement happening in interest rates in the next 6 to 8 months? Well, that's definitely out of the realms of my
pay grade,
my knowledge. I'm at the bottom of that decision. I hear from head office and then find out what's going on. So,
is it something that people are worried about? Are they sitting there? Okay, we know it's been really low interest rates for a long time. There's all this chatter in the ether about them starting to move up. Is that one of the concerns people, that you have to address on your day-to-day?
Yeah. Obviously, when people come in, they're mostly pretty excited to start the loan process, and they're excited because the rates are low. But they will ask that question, and
And what's your advice?
I can't give you.
You can't.
I'm
not
not
financial
allowed.
advisor.
I'm not a financial advisor.
No. But go and see a financial advisor if you're worried.
Yes.
Would be one of the things to do if you're actually concerned about whether interest rates might move.
Consider things like fixed rate lock-in fees. You can pay a fee to lock in your rate for 60 days from when you are approved.
Yep.
That way, between the date that you are approved and settlement, you're locking in that rate in case it changes.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. That's a good piece of advice.
Yep.
What are the other major questions people ask you when they look to lend?
Look, there's so many questions that you get asked on a daily basis. Probably the main thing is deposit can be a big thing, whether people can generate 20% deposit so that they can avoid lender's mortgage insurance. And if not,
what's the minimum that they can put in, which many people probably don't know that that's 5%. So,
and 5%, you can put a 5% deposit down if the seller agrees to that. So by all means, put it forward, and as a real estate agent or a solicitor or a conveyancer, we'll put that to our client to see if they agree to it. So that's a possibility.
And people generally, just the main things that they want to know is their affordability and how it's calculated. So I generally let everyone know that we are assessing them at a floor rate. So you know, if things do change, they've got a bit of a
What is a floor rate?
Floor rate is something that was instituted by the government, basically, that all institutions need to have that rate added when they're assessing people to the actual rate that they will be paying. So at the moment it's 3%. That's recently changed from 2.5 to 3. So if your interest rate is, say it's 2.89, I think at the moment.
Let's call it 2.5 because the maths will be easy.
Yes, so if it's 2.5, it'll be 5.5 that we assess you at.
Yes, so that's basically saying that even though you might be getting your money at 2.5, if you wanted to lock it in for 60 days, the bank is assessing whether or not you're going to be able to repay that loan at 5.5 if it went up. So that gives you wriggle room. And security, I'm imagining.
That's right.
Now, the other interesting thing that we're seeing in real estate at the moment is, and again, it may not be something within your area, so you know, feel free to tell me so if I'm asking you something that you're not sure of. But we're finding from a real estate point of view, with the increase in prices, and in Merimbula they've increased by about 17%. There have been bigger ones, but if you're looking at the median, 17% over the last 12 months. Some areas 20-25%. What we're finding at the moment is, because the banks always get a valuation of a property, so can you just take us through that process as well? So they've put their offer in, it's been accepted.
They've got conditional approval, which would generally be conditional on a valuation. Once they've done that process, that's when we will request a val from one of our panel valuers, and they will come back to us with the result of that. We haven't had too much issue with valuations.
And we're in the industry, we talk about it coming up to valuation, that a valuer puts, you've bought a house for $800,000 and a valuer who's acting for the bank will go, that house is worth $800,000, and the bank will lend you that money. We've had instances recently where the valuation hasn't come up to the price that's been accepted. Is that something that you're seeing?
Not too often. I've only had one in the last 6 months. And it's been something that we've been able to work towards achieving a solution for them and making it work.
What would the solution to that be?
It's usually finding more money somewhere.
But,
or reassessing it and seeing if there's a way that we can structure it that will fix the problem. Basically with the valuers though, the reason that they're able to be coming back right at the moment is because there's comparable sales, I feel. So and
that's a really interesting, and I'm being wound up, but maybe to end on this,
I'm not a valuer though.
No, you're not a valuer, you're not a financial advisor, but you can give people money quickly. But in a sense, we've had pretty in 22 years in real estate, this is only the second time I've seen a market like this. And it's gone up, it's gone crazy. But what's happening now is we're starting to see a stabilisation of prices. And that's because valuers are coming in and saying, actually, no, we're topped out now, and so that is actually, I don't think we're going to see a lowering of prices, but we're going to see a stabilisation of prices over the next little while. And that's where valuers, lending institutions, real estate agents, solicitors and conveyancers, it's incredible how quickly we all work together to try and find the solution for our mutual clients. So it's out there, but and so come and see Jess, and she'll lend you money.
At the end of the day, it's all about the customers. So,
Okay, thanks, Jess. Really appreciate your time. Talk soon.
Thanks, Jo.
Bye.